You're in a conversation with a friend you have known for 20 years. You are smiling, you are nodding, you are there. And then, a quiet, heartbreaking realization dawns on you. You are here, but your soul is somewhere else. You love this person, but you no longer belong in this conversation. You no longer speak the same language. This is the loneliest pain of all, the pain of outgrowing the people you still love. This feeling is not a sign that you are a bad person. It is not a betrayal. In this video, we will explore why Carl Jung saw this painful distance not as a failure of love, but as proof that your soul's sacred work is succeeding. We will give this grief a name and a place to rest. Are you ready to find peace in this lonely passage? You are the heroine of this story, the woman on a journey of healing and self-discovery who is now realizing that her path is beginning to diverge from the ones she has always known. Imagine a woman named Maria, 56 years old. She receives an invitation to a weekly gathering with friends she has had since college. For years, this was her sanctuary. Now, the thought of it fills her with a strange exhaustion. And as she types a polite excuse, a wave of immense guilt washes over her. The silent question that haunts her, and perhaps it is haunting you too, is this: how do you grieve a relationship that is still alive? And how do you honor your own path without feeling like you are betraying everyone you were leaving behind?
So let's give this painful, quiet experience a name. I call it the silent grief of growth. It is grief because you are losing something precious, a connection, a resonance, a shared world. But it is a silent grief because there is no funeral. There is no fight. There is no dramatic ending to mourn. The person is still there. The love is often still there. But the energetic fit is gone. You look at them, and you see the person you have loved for years. But you also see a reflection of a version of yourself that you no longer are. This is not about being better than them. Let's be very clear about that. This is not about arrogance or judgment. It is about divergence. It is the simple, heartbreaking truth that two paths that once ran parallel have begun to gently and irrevocably drift apart. But why? Why does this happen so often in midlife? The answer lies in one of Carl Jung's most profound and important concepts, a concept that is at the very heart of the second half of life. He called it individuation. Individuation is the sacred, lifelong journey of becoming your most authentic, whole, and individual self. It is the process of shedding all the masks, all the roles, all the shoulds and supposed tos that society has placed upon you to uncover the true self that has been waiting underneath. Think of it like this. The first half of your life is largely about conforming, building a persona, fitting in. You build a career, a family, a social identity. You learn the rules of the collective. But the second half of life, as Jung saw it, has a different purpose. It is a call to return home, to turn your focus inward, to begin the courageous work of asking not what the world wants for me, but what does my soul want for me? You begin doing the inner work. You face your shadows. You heal old wounds. You question old beliefs. You start listening to the quiet whispers of your own intuition. And as you do this work, something fundamental begins to change. Your soul's frequency begins to shift. Imagine you have been a radio tuned to a specific station for decades. All your friends are tuned to the same station. You listen to the same music, the same news, the same stories. It is comfortable. It is familiar. It is home. But as you begin your individuation journey, you start to feel a subtle static. The old music doesn't resonate anymore. The old stories feel hollow. And you begin, slowly, to turn your own dial. You are searching for a new frequency, a station that plays the music of your evolving soul. And one day, you find it. The signal is clear. The music is beautiful. It feels like you. But when you look around, you realize you are the only one listening. Your loved ones are still tuned to the old station. They are still enjoying the old music, and they cannot hear what you are hearing. They cannot understand why you would want to listen to anything else. The distance you feel is not a failure of love. It is a difference in frequency. The silent grief of growth is the undeniable proof that your inner work is working. It is the painful, beautiful, necessary evidence that you are evolving. You are not leaving them behind out of malice. You are moving forward out of alignment with your own soul. This is one of the loneliest passages of the human journey, because it feels like you are being punished for your own growth. It feels like you have to choose between being true to yourself and belonging. And that choice brings up the most painful emotion of all, guilt. We will talk about that guilt. We must, because it is the gatekeeper that can trap you in a life that is no longer yours. But for now, just let this truth land. The distance is not a rejection. It is a resonance shift. And that shift is the sound of you, finally, becoming whole.
So you have turned the dial. You are listening to a new frequency. And the silence from the old world can be deafening. The journey of healing from this silent grief is not about trying to force them to change their station. It is not about cutting them off in anger. It is a gentle, internal process. It is about learning to hold two opposing truths in your heart at the same time. The truth of your love for them, and the truth of your need for your own path. There are 3 steps to this healing. The first step is to accept the divergence. For so much of our lives, we believe that love means walking in the same direction forever. We believe that true connection means perfect alignment. The individuation journey teaches us a harder, more mature truth. It teaches us that you can love someone deeply, with all of your heart, and still be on a different path. Accepting the divergence means you stop seeing the distance as a problem to be solved. It is not a failure. It is a reality of growth. Imagine 2 magnificent trees that grew from seeds planted right next to each other. For years, their branches intertwined. They shared the same sun, the same rain. But as they grew taller, one tree began to reach for the eastern sun, while the other reached for the western sun. They did not stop loving each other. They did not judge each other. They simply grew in the direction their own inner nature called them to. Your soul is that tree. Accepting the divergence is honoring your own inner sun. The second step is to confront the guilt. Guilt is the loudest and most powerful voice in this journey. It tells you that you are selfish, that you are disloyal, that you are abandoning the people who have always been there for you. But we must look at this guilt through a Jungian lens. Guilt, in this context, is not a signal that you have done something wrong. Guilt is the echo of a love that was real. You feel guilty because you loved them so much. You feel guilty because the connection was so deep. If it didn't matter, there would be no guilt. So instead of fighting the guilt, we reframe it. We honor it. When that wave of guilt washes over you, pause, breathe, and say to it, Ah, there you are. You are here to remind me how much I loved and still love what we shared. Thank you for that reminder. You treat your guilt not as an accuser, but as a tender historian of your heart. This simple shift in perspective can take away its power to paralyze you. It transforms a weapon against you into a testament to your capacity for love. And that leads to the third and most transformative step: distinguishing loneliness from solitude. When you first step onto your own path, the feeling is one of loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of absence. It is the ache for what is no longer there. It is a feeling of lack. It is looking back at the old radio station and missing the familiar music. This is a natural and necessary stage of grief. You must allow yourself to feel it. But the individuation journey is not an invitation to a life of loneliness. It is an invitation to a life of solitude. Solitude is not about absence. It is about presence. It is the profound, quiet, powerful presence of your own self. Loneliness is being empty. Solitude is being full. It is the moment you stop looking back and you turn your full attention to the new music that is playing just for you. It is the moment you realize that the silence is not empty. It is filled with the whispers of your own soul. Solitude is the space where you can finally hear yourself think, where you can feel your own feelings without the filter of others' expectations, where you can connect with your own deep wisdom. The journey of outgrowing people you love is the universe's sometimes painful way of forcing you out of the crowded, noisy room of the collective and into the sacred, silent sanctuary of your own being. It is in that solitude that you stop being a reflection of your relationships and you start becoming the source of your own light. And the paradox is this: when you can stand fully and peacefully in your own solitude, you become a beacon, and you begin to attract others, new friends, new connections, who are not tuned to your old station, but to the beautiful new frequency you are now broadcasting. You do not lose love. You make space for a new kind of love, a love based not on shared history, but on shared resonance.
The greatest lesson on this lonely path is one of sacred loyalty. Not loyalty to a person, or a memory, or a past version of yourself, but a profound, unshakable loyalty to the truth of your own evolving soul. For so many women, raised to be caretakers of others' feelings, this can feel like the ultimate betrayal. It can feel selfish. But let me say this with all the clarity I possess. Choosing your own soul's path is not selfish. It is the most sacred responsibility you have. It is the act of honoring the unique life force that was gifted to you, and only you. Your journey does not need to look like anyone else's to be valid. It does not need to be understood by anyone else to be true. It does not need to be approved by anyone else to be sacred. It is valid simply because it is yours. But how do we live with this truth? How do we honor what was while still embracing what is? How do we say a gentle goodbye to a connection that is not ending in anger, but simply changing form? We do it with a practice, a quiet, beautiful practice of the heart. I call it the practice of the silent memorial. This is not for them. This is for you. It is a way to process the silent grief and to transform the pain of separation into the peace of acceptance. In a quiet moment this week, I invite you to try this. Find a space where you can be alone for just a few minutes. close your eyes, take a deep, slow breath, and bring to your mind's eye the person from whom you feel this growing distance. See them not as they are now, but as they were in a moment of true, happy connection. Feel the warmth of that memory, the joy, the laughter. Let yourself feel the love that was and still is there. Do not focus on the distance now. Do not focus on the misunderstanding or the silence. For these few moments, focus only on gratitude. Silently, in your heart, thank them. Thank them for the laughter. Thank them for the support they gave you in a different season of your life. Thank them for the lessons they taught you. Thank them for being a part of the journey that has led you to who you are today. Feel that gratitude fill your heart. And now, imagine your own path as a beautiful river of light flowing forward. And then see their path, another beautiful river of light, also flowing forward. Acknowledge that the rivers no longer flow side by side. They have diverged. Each is following its own sacred course to the great ocean. And from your heart, with all the love you can feel, you send them a blessing. You wish them peace on their journey. You wish them joy on their journey. You wish them well. And then, gently, you turn your full attention back to your own river, your own path, your own sacred journey forward. You breathe and you let go. This small, silent ritual is an act of profound grace. It honors the love that was real without chaining you to a past that no longer fits. It allows you to release the guilt and to walk your own path, not with the heaviness of abandonment, but with the lightness of a blessing given and received. So this is your invitation, your small act of healing for this week. Choose one relationship, one connection that has changed, and for just 5 minutes, perform this silent memorial. Notice how it feels in your body to replace the pain of distance with the warmth of gratitude. Notice how it feels to bless someone's journey, even if it is no longer your own. This is how you honor the past without sacrificing your future. This is how you walk alone with a heart full of love.
We have walked a quiet path together today. From the silent, painful static of a lost connection to the deep Jungian truth that this distance is a sign of your soul's evolution. From the heavy chains of guilt to the gentle liberation of reframing it as a testament to love. From the empty ache of loneliness to the quiet, sovereign power of solitude. The journey of outgrowing people you love is not a journey of abandonment. It is a journey of alignment. For so long, you may have believed that your goodness was measured by your ability to stay the same, to remain a predictable part of a familiar constellation. But the deepest truth of the individuation journey is this: your sacred duty is not to the constellation, it is to your own star. Your responsibility is to your own light, to follow its unique trajectory across the sky, even if it leads you into a part of the heavens where you must shine alone for a while. The questions we asked at the beginning: how do you grieve a relationship that is still alive? You grieve it with grace, with the quiet, loving ritual of the silent memorial. You honor what was, so you can have peace with what is. And how do you honor your own path without betraying those you leave behind? You honor it by understanding that your growth is not a judgment upon them. Your river of light choosing a new course does not diminish the beauty of their own. You can bless their journey while remaining fiercely loyal to your own. This is the ultimate act of maturity. the ultimate act of love, a love that is big enough to hold both the connection and the distance. And so I ask you to close your eyes, just for a moment. Imagine your path, that quiet, sometimes lonely, but deeply true river of light that is yours alone. See its beauty, feel its rightness. It does not need to be understood by anyone else to be valid. It is valid simply because it is yours. And so, as a declaration to the universe, a quiet promise to the evolving soul within you, I invite you to go to the comments below and simply write the words, "I honor my own sacred path." Let this be your anchor, a quiet celebration of your courageous journey. But I must be honest with you. This courageous act of choosing your own path, of stepping away from the collective, can sometimes leave you standing in a quiet, empty space. And in that space, a new and sometimes startling question can arise. What happens when you have found your path, but you feel you have lost your spark? What do you do when the inner fire that propelled you on this journey seems to have dimmed to a faint ember? That is the journey of reconnection with your own inner fire. It is the mystery of the lost spark and how to find it again that we will explore together in our next video. In that video, you will find new ways to gently coax that flame back to life and to feel truly and passionately alive again. Until then, be gentle with your journey. The path is not always clear, but it is always sacredly yours.